Chelsea Clinton has lived a pretty privileged life, but she's also endured her fair share of loss and an unfair share of cruelty from people who really should have known better. It's one thing to be picked on by your classmates, but quite another thing entirely to be bullied by adults. Unfortunately for Chelsea Clinton, she endured all of that. As she told The Guardian in 2018, "I've had so much vitriol flung at me for as long as I can literally remember. People saying awful things to me, even as a child." Now that she's on the other side of it, Clinton can at least understand why she was targeted, as she explained. "Sometimes they're mad at me because of something that my mom or dad did." The unwarranted hate had a serious impact on Clinton's childhood. As she told The Big Issue in 2018, "It was these older men saying these mean things to a 12-year-old girl. I mean, it was crazy." Eventually, she came to an important realization, as she noted, "When we're being verbally abused by other people, it's not about who we are, it's all about the bullies." Mocking Chelsea Clinton became so normalized when her father was president that she was even the butt of a joke on a Wayne's World sketch on Saturday Night Live in 1992 when she was only 12. Following criticism, the joke was removed from future airings of the sketch, although the damage had already been done. Then in 2022, on the first episode of Clinton and her mother Hillary's Apple TV Plus show Gutsy, she revealed the impact that the jokes had on her. She also expressed her frustration that nobody in the SNL writers' room stopped to say that maybe they shouldn't be making fun of children.
When SNL made fun of me, I was like, wow, like a group of adults sat in a room,
right.
all decided this was a good idea.
Public attention wasn't exactly new to Chelsea Clinton when her father became president, considering that he'd been in politics since before she was born, so she was often cautious of how she came across, but she nevertheless ruffled a few feathers when she went off to college at Stanford University in 1997. As an editorial in the New York Times at the time noted, "All the talk out here about treating Chelsea Clinton like any other Stanford freshman is well-intentioned but unrealistic. The dislocation and security that came with her arrival made the difference clear." In addition to the heightened security, Clinton's dorm room had to be fitted with precautionary features, like bulletproof glass and hallway cameras. Unfortunately, all this attention meant that she couldn't simply blend in as a normal freshman.
It's got to be worse when the whole world's watching you.
Despite his protestations to the contrary, Bill Clinton did in fact have an affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky while he was president. He was publicly disgraced as the truth came out, and his family bore a large brunt of the fallout. With the whole world now aware of her father's infidelity, Chelsea now faced an entirely new form of scrutiny. It wouldn't have been surprising if her parents had divorced, but Hillary ultimately decided to remain by her husband's side and keep her family unit intact. During an appearance on the Today Show in January 1998, the First Lady noted that her daughter was handling the situation well, while explaining, "She has seen many examples of it in her very short life, so it's not a pleasant experience, but it's given her the sort of grounding to be able to see what this is and get through it." After graduating from Stanford in 2001, Chelsea Clinton hopped across the pond to pursue a master's at the University of Oxford, where she didn't have to keep up appearances as much as she used to. But even in England, she couldn't completely escape the glare of the paparazzi. Tabloids like The Sun and the Daily Mail were hot on Clinton's trail wherever she went, with one headline implying that she had too much to drink one night by declaring, "Bill's girl is going, gone." During an interview with Women's Wear Daily in 2002, Clinton remarked, "The press is still all over me in London, but on the continent, I can do what I want." Even after growing up, earning 2 degrees, and joining her mother's presidential campaign in 2008, Chelsea Clinton still couldn't catch a break. At this point in her life, she was used to the occasional off-color remark, but that didn't necessarily make them any less shocking. In February 2008, MSNBC anchor David Schuster was discussing Chelsea's work for Hillary's campaign when he asked, "Doesn't it seem like Chelsea is sort of being pimped out in some weird sort of way?" Schuster did apologize, although he was ultimately suspended by his network. Hillary later responded by telling ABC's Washington, D.C. affiliate WJLA, "I'm a mom first, I'm a candidate second, and I really am troubled by this pattern of behavior and comments that you hear." After Clinton's maternal grandfather died in 1993, she grew closer with her grandmother, Dorothy Rodham. As she told Vogue in 2012, "My grandmother and I spent a lot of time in Washington together, and then she was diagnosed with colon cancer 4 days after I graduated from Stanford."
I talked to her every single day, or at least I called her every single day. Sometimes she would be too busy to talk to me.
Clinton then adjusted her summer plans and moved into the hospital. to spend as much time as possible with her grandmother, as she recalled. Although I clearly wish she hadn't had to go through that, that was the first time where we really talked about everything. They loved to read together and drink margaritas, and Clinton credited her grandmother with challenging her to do more with her life. Rodham passed away in November 2011, prompting a long period of mourning for her granddaughter. As she admitted to Glamour in 2013, "I've never been so lost as I was when she passed." But Rodham's death also pushed Clinton and her husband Mark Mezvinsky to reevaluate their own lives. As she put it, "We sat down and said, here's what we want to do. The first thing on the list was simple. We want, God willing, to start a family." In November 2011, Clinton joined NBC as a correspondent, but the public was still quick to scrutinize her closely, even though she had recently worked on a presidential campaign and had a master's in international relations. The problem, unsurprisingly, was a perception of nepotism. During a conversation with The Telegraph in 2014, Clinton explained how difficult her career moves had been. As she put it, "It is frustrating because who wants to grow up and follow their parents? I've tried really hard to care about things that were very different from my parents." She tried working in public health, finance, and technology, but she ultimately felt drawn toward similar work as her mom and dad. As she explained, "I will just always work harder than anybody else and hopefully perform better. And hopefully over time, I preempt and erase whatever expectations people have of me not having a good work ethic or not being smart or not being motivated."
So we all have to find our gutsiness to push back on that forcefully.
Chelsea Clinton met her future husband, Mark Mezvinsky, at a Democratic political retreat back in 1993 when they were teenagers. Despite going on to attend both Stanford and Oxford at the same time, it wasn't until 2005 that they began dating. They tied the knot 5 years later, and it sadly didn't take long for rumors to spring up around them. As Clinton's chief of staff Barry Lurie told Vogue in 2012, "What put a strain on them was that the stories were being written because none of us were paying attention to it." Certain members of the press noticed that shortly after their wedding, Mezvinsky rented a place in Wyoming to go skiing, and he and Clinton were living separately during his vacation. Speculation about a possible divorce quickly spread. As Lurie noted, "It was an eye-opening lesson. Chelsea realized maybe I need to get out there and demystify myself a little bit." It might not seem like Chelsea Clinton and Ivanka Trump would have very much in common beyond both being first daughters, but they were actually good friends long before Ivanka's father became president. But then things shifted during the 2016 presidential election. One day before that election, Clinton told E! News, "Our friendship started before politics, so it will last beyond politics. We clearly have different views about what we think is the right answer and the right direction for our country." Despite Clinton's insistence, though, it appears that everything changed shortly afterwards. During an appearance on Watch What Happens Live in September 2022, she revealed that the last time she spoke with Ivanka was all the way back in November 2016.
But we were definitely friends.
Right.
And then she went to the dark side.
On March 15, 2019, a gunman killed 51 worshippers at 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. Chelsea Clinton attended a vigil in New York City the following day, but her presence quickly overshadowed the moment. A month earlier, she had replied to Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar's contention that American policy was too strongly influenced by the Israeli lobby by tweeting, "We should expect all elected officials regardless of party and all public figures to not traffic in anti-Semitism." When Clinton arrived at the vigil, several students from New York University confronted her, with one of them reportedly saying, "This right here is a result of a massacre stoked by people like you and the words that you put out into the world. And I want you to know that, and I want you to feel that deep down inside. 49 people died because of the rhetoric you put out there." Clinton kept her composure, though, simply apologizing that the student felt that way, while adding, "Certainly it was never my intention. I do believe words matter. I believe we have to show solidarity." Parents often face plenty of judgment about how they raise their children, and it comes from all directions when you're a public figure. So it's hardly a surprise that Chelsea Clinton has endured this criticism ever since becoming a mother. One particular sticking point is that she and her husband, Mark Mezvinsky, rely on a nanny to help with childcare because they both work. In 2016, Clinton was helping with her mother's presidential campaign and couldn't attend her daughter Charlotte's first day of kindergarten. Rather than mentioning how wonderful it was that Mezvinsky was with their daughter, several news outlets instead criticized Clinton for not being there. During an interview with People magazine in October 2020, Clinton revealed how much the pandemic had impacted her feelings about parenting, as she admitted that she wasn't sure it was even possible to be a mom without experiencing guilt. She also revealed that she struggled to help her son with online schooling while working from home. As she put it, "I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing either thing very well at the moment." Clinton still tries to be patient with herself, though, as she added, There's lots of guilt and navigation and just trying to do the best we can every day, and some days the best is going to be better than others.